is Regina in Bergia, and she's worked for quite a long time getting fluoride, or working to get fluoride out of our water system and the dangers of it. We'll get some updates on that, and also some very new breaking information that is going to be, I think, very important for us. Regina, welcome to the Power Hour.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I look forward to the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think these are the kind of conversations we need to have every so often, and we've probably waited too long to have you on. Why don't you give a little background on yourself, just briefly? How long have you been trying to remove fluoride from Dallas? What's been going on, and where you are with that? And then let's get into the new information after.
Okay, briefly. I've been an activist all my life. I grew up in a family that fought out of the box, and so I had a group that was called Activists for Truth. And about 5 years ago, it was a forum for people to bring all kinds of topics. And of course, we always were promoting the Power Hour in Joyce and things like that. So, but as we were working with things, we realized trying to do things on the federal level was daunting lots of times. And so we were talking about how it's local, we have to get involved locally. So we decided we were going to learn about city government, because like all the people in the group, we'd have people coming, 25, 45 people. They didn't know who their councilman was. So we said we're going to look into it. But while we were looking into how to do the system, go to City Hall, let's have a topic. And I wanted people to have something they could win, okay? And this is how I was. I thought, I know about fluoride, and the City Council has the opportunity to turn this around. Nobody has fought this in Dallas for 50 years. Fluoridation started in Dallas in 1965. And I thought, this is it. We can win. We can boost the people. They can see you can fight City Hall, blah, blah, blah. So we go. And in the beginning, they were surprised we were there. They were nice to us the first time. And they kind of like, you know what you need to do? You need to get it on the ballot, and blah, blah, blah. But I looked up some old newspaper articles, and it's not how it went. It's not how we could quickly get it out, because it was a vote of the council that put it in, so it could be a vote of the council that could take it out. So instead of trying to go through the whole expensive, big process of getting it on the ballot, in my brain, there's 15 people on the council. We only needed 9 to realize it was a dumb idea, or at least an idea that needed to be halted until we could see more proof. I thought, we got them. This is great. This is exciting. So we would go to the city council happily and hopefully trying to just open their eyes and say, wait, guys, you got to see this. Look at this. Look at the proof is all on our side. Yet, we were stonewalled, of course, all the time. So it's 5 years later. We know that the council, and a lot of the council is still there, they just voted in and voted out. But the mayor has been there the whole time. They know the truth. They can't not know the truth. It's out there. I mean, the pro-fluoride side just has propaganda. They don't have science. But they're stubborn to change because of status quo and because of the stigma that's attached to saying you're against fluoride. That means you're against the poor people and helping people fix their teeth, and nobody wants to be labeled with that. So we are still fighting it. How's that?
Let me ask you.
Okay.
No, it's very good. I'm just listening. Okay. Yes. Let's go back. Good. You said 1960. You said 1965. The fluoride first came in Dallas. How does that process even begin? How did fluoride even come to these American municipalities and these cities? What goes on there?
Well, they believed because they saw some people that had really strong teeth. That was actually in a town in Texas that had high fluoride in their water, and they attributed the fact that they had low tooth decay, that this was the factor that made the difference, okay? So you had this going on, and these people are correlating this stronger teeth and less cavities to the fluoride content. At the same time, there was fluoride was being used in bomb production and other things, because fluoride bonds with other things and makes them stronger. So, as the concept of fluoride being able to be, it's a byproduct of an industry that when they want to dispose of their byproduct, which is the fluoride, the hydrofluorosilicic acid, it costs a lot of money to dispose of it properly. But if you sell it as a product, it can be put into the water in a small dose and blah, 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 and they get away with it. So you had all these things going on at the same time. You had maybe some people that truly thought there was some good in it. Then you had the people who wanted to save the money and dispose of this product. And then you also had these things going on that they did not want the public to be afraid of fluoride. So there was actually a propaganda out there to say fluoride is safe, fluoride is good. And that's where all the propaganda started.
That's really, there's the music. We got a break. On the other side, we'll continue. Okay. As I look at the fluoride history of this, it's very odd. I mean, the only conclusion I've come to is, like you said, propaganda. This whole thing is a propaganda machine right from the get-go. I don't know what other conclusion to come to. We'll be back on the other side, Regina. Stay right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thepowerhour.com. We'll be right back. We're talking about fluoride. If you came to listen to Daniel, we're working on getting him. Hopefully by the end of the show we'll have him. But we're so glad to have Regina on to talk about this important subject about fluoride. And specifically, she's trying to get it out of Dallas. She's got a whole group of people. God bless all of you who are working on this. I just want to declare for all of you and your efforts, and that the truth will reign out, and that you will have success, and doors will open for you, because this is America. This is how it's going to change. This is Samuel Adams. I mean, this is the same kind of thing. Regina, let me give you a couple bullet points here. Tell me if I'm wrong. Fluoride is used in rat poison. It's used to spray on crops to kill bugs. Is that true?
That is very true, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's poison,
When the fluoride comes to a lot of these municipalities, it comes in containers that have skull and crossbones, poison, watch out, danger. Is that true?
Very true, yes.
Are some of these municipalities, are they getting paid to put the fluoride in? Is that why they're not going to vote against this? I mean, what have you found out about that?
People have told me all along, follow the money, see who's getting paid off. Number one, it's a little harder than what you think. When people are getting paid off for, it's just lobbying kind of thing, it can be hid so many different ways, and I'm not really good at following those kind of things. But also, I've always wondered, just like with vaccinations, the doctor's offices that have, compliance with all the kids vaccinated, they might get either a grant or extra money,
Kickback.
Kickback or some sort of thing to say, keep doing this. I don't see anything like that necessarily at the city level, although it's the city council that can make the decision. But I wouldn't doubt, and I have a feeling, at the county level, because the county level is what handles the health and human services and all that kind of jazz. And so I wouldn't doubt that there's something incorporated into the grants that they get, as long as they have compliance, because this is something that's supposed to be a health initiative, that's what it was started with, and I wouldn't doubt that plays in somehow with them getting their funding, if all the cities in their county are compliant, in other words, I would think. But
let me go to a news article. This is from about a month or so ago. This is out of New Zealand. Fluoridation is compulsory medical treatment. The New Zealand Supreme Court has just ruled. So the Supreme Court of New Zealand, they have something in their constitution that you cannot force medical treatment on people unless you have to have a really good reason. Well, they heard the case. One of the Supreme Court justices, of course, similar to what you've seen, they tried to shut it down, and one of the Supreme Court justices said, no, let's hear this. I think this is important. What's the benefit here? Without any evidence, the only evidence that was provided is that topical fluoride can strengthen teeth. That was it. Topical fluoride. There's no evidence of ingesting fluoride that strengthens teeth. I don't know of any. I have not yet seen any hard study. I've seen some correlations, like you mentioned. Anyway, New Zealand went against science, the Supreme Court. They're not stupid. I mean, these judges can't be that dumb. And they decided, no, this is a mandated medical treatment and must be in the water. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, Dr. Paul Connett, who is the top person to go to about the fluoridation issue, he considered that whole issue in New Zealand was kind of like you winning the battle, but what is it called? You win, anyways, as a win, because at least it's being brought to the attention and all that. But no, that is one of the things in Oregon. Sorry, I'm talking over myself here. In Oregon, they have been trying to fluoridate the water, and it's been defeated for years, like 64% of the people. And it was on the issue of medicating people. And that's what this is. You're medicating people against their will. So, but, okay, I'm sorry, ask the question again. I kind of lost it with getting all fumbly.
No, it's okay. Well, no. Let me give you a little different. When you talk to the city council in Dallas, do you say, just get rid of it? If you think this is necessary, why don't you hand out fluoride pills to people if they want? They can choose to use them if you want. If
Good
you
idea.
Want to use fluoride, here's fluoride pills. It's not that expensive. Do you bring up anything like that? What is the response if you do?
We do. Okay, we brought up many things over the 5 years, and one of them being, Daniel, it's found in our water anyway. They're adding more of this hydrofluorosilicic acid, which comes contaminated with lead and arsenic and other things, to put in the water to raise the fluoride level. But we already had a base level of 0.5 parts fluoride in the water anyways, and they're trying to raise it to 0.7. So all
now,
of our arguments...
Pause right there. Pause right there. Now, is this naturally occurring fluoride? Now, there's a big difference between naturally occurring fluoride as a mineral, as a loose mineral, and hydrofluorosilicic acid, which is a chemical compound, as you said. Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly. What's in the water is the naturally occurring, and maybe some runoff, which would be the other acid in there. But the main deal of it is the combined level in our water found before they even add this other poison that's contaminated with other things is at an adequate level for the people that want fluoride. See, the people that would want fluoride, 0.5 to 0.7 doesn't even have a different effect. Actually, in Hong Kong, 7 million people, they fluoridate their water to only 0.5 parts per million. So see, that's the argument of, like you say, they could get it some other way. And that's what we were even saying. You're getting it anyways, the people that want it. Plus, Daniel, I said this to them too. Fluoride concentrate, when you put a pot of soup on and then you reduce it by half, you now have double the amount of fluoride in that water. So I said, for the people that want higher fluoride and more fluoride, just boil your water. Then you get a higher concentration. And you don't have, and the other people, all of the rest, right? Doesn't that make sense? All the rest of us don't have to be...
To me.
Right? So we have a very logical, down-to-earth things that we tell them, but, they just look at you and still vote to put it in there. Yep.
I'm very puzzled by this because it's so, I've been to the city council. I know how these city council meetings go on other things. But when you present these things logically, I don't, and then they just almost, do they just ignore you basically or just shut you down?
Yep,
or
definitely.
Or what? We're almost at break.
Well,
So.
Okay. 3 years ago, we had 2 council members that would speak up, but, and they would say, this makes sense. Why are we doing this? But they couldn't get the 8 of them to do it. And how councils work is, if it doesn't look like it's going to pass, they fold on it. They just look the other way. They're only going to go with something if they think they can move it forward. And there are just too many people that, that have alternative reasons for keeping it in there, if you know what I mean. I don't know. The one, his wife is a doctor, and I don't know where they're getting their pressure from. But they're not stupid anymore. Way in the beginning, I would say ignorance was some of the problem, but not anymore. They just don't want to go against status quo. That's the bottom line.
Let me, we're coming on break. On the other side, let's get into some of the studies and some of the factual information about what does fluoride do? What does it do to your penile gland? What does it do to your body? I know there's a Harvard study that says definitively it lowers IQ. Let's talk about some of those things, and then we'll get to your new breaking news, which is very, very interesting and good. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Power Hour. Regina's here, Fluoride Free Dallas. God bless all y'all down there. We are talking to Regina and Brugia.
Berja.
Fluoride Free Dallas. She's an activist at heart. She sees something wrong and she wants to fix it. And that's a unusual instinct nowadays in America. It used to be that land of the free, home of the brave. You know, that was America through and through. I mean, we got a real American on the line here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we do.
And we are very glad that she is. Trying, you are. Look, no matter what you do, Regina, that's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Pick something. Pick anything that you are interested in. We've made some flyers about the Second Amendment. We've made some about the Bill of Rights. We have Bill of Rights printed sheets. We got about vaccines. There's just a couple things. Just hand anything. Pick anything that you are interested in and is important to you, or you think might be important to you.
Did you send that to Kelly?
Put out a flyer.
You already did?
Hand it to people. Tell them somebody else wrote it. Say here, I saw this. What do you think of this? Tell them somebody else wrote it. Anything.
That's right. Yeah.
Do something.
Get it out there. Do something. That's right. That's what we got to do. And don't give up. You never know when it's going to be critical mass. You never know what's going to be the thing that's going to make the difference. So keep going.
Well, since we're going on this topic, I mean, I want to get more into fluoride, but let me ask you, you're kind of at the heart of these kind of issues. Do you see a critical mass in America, in the world of... Tell me about that a little bit.
No, I do. You know, like I had talked to you for about a minute earlier, and I do believe people know a whole lot more. They are awake. They are listening to shows like the Power Hour. But maybe they're not to the point of action, so you don't see maybe the physical aspect of it or the numbers, but it's definitely changing. You know, whenever there is a poll, like about fluoride or something, it's 70, 80, 90% people say no fluoridation. Now, they're not out there fighting necessarily, because a lot of times people they think it's not going to work, you know, and, they got other things to do. And plus, you know, life keeps you busy, and it's hard to, what are you going to prioritize, you know? But people are waking up, without a shadow of a doubt. I believe that wholeheartedly. Yes.
We've talked quite a few times. There's what would you call it, a sociological law or sociological theory that is pretty much law that we've seen, is that when you have an irate minority who was willing to proselytize, is immune to resistance, and will share all this information on a subject, doesn't matter what the subject is, like fluoride, that eventually the majority of the people, that would be the majority opinion. We may have seen this with fluoride, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what Regina is just telling us.
I really do believe that. I mean, actually, you just do a test, anybody. Be in a grocery store. Okay, let me give a little example. Last year, towards the end of the year, a newspaper got on board with us, okay? And they did an article, let me do an op-ed, and then I was just around asking people, I'd be in the grocery store or something. Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, that's fluoride. I don't drink the water. Even I go to city council where the city council isn't listening, and I'll be sitting next to people, and I'll say, yeah, I'm going to talk about fluoride. Oh, yeah, I don't drink tap water. I drink, you know. So if people are aware, they may not be activists yet, but I think it's coming. I think we're coming to critical mass on some of these things, and especially with other things that are happening, which you're going to mention in a minute. It's going to, and plus, too, people see everybody's sick. Everybody's sick. I mean, we have a country that has the most, whatever, every disease you want to come up with. Even our IQ of our people is lower than other countries. And so something's wrong, you know? And, when you put poison in the water, you're going to have some problems. And we do. We have a lot of problems.
We're digressing here a lot, but we have time, Regina. I think this is interesting. I hope you do. I had a discussion with my in-laws. We were visiting my wife's family, and again, I've said this many times. They're very medical. They got 3 or 4 nurses, maybe 5 nurses in one form or another. Nurse, a couple dentists, a nuclear engineer, a pharmacist, a drug dealer, legalized drug dealer. So very, very medical. Very, the system works very well, kind of thing.
Right.
And we were talking about. I asked the pharmacist, what grade would you give the medical industry? And he said, well, an A on practice a D or an F on the bureaucracy and the insurance. He saw it from the insurance point of view. I said, and then I went on and I talked about how people. I said, well, don't you see that people are getting sicker? Aren't people getting more and more sick? Our life expectancies are going down and all these things. So then my other brother-in-law, I mean, this turned, believe me, I was like, my wife and I were like up against the wall. We were like against the wailing wall, and the invading hordes were coming against us. And I said, don't you see the life expectancies going down? Well, then the insurance brother-in-law, who works in insurance and actuaries and that kind of thing, said, well, actually, life expectancy in America has been going up. I said, no, it hasn't. Where are you getting this? He said, well, these are insurance actuaries, and they're old. They're like 3 years old. The last 2 years, something unprecedented has happened in American history. For the first time ever, 2 years in a row, life expectancy in America has went down. Went at the same time when all other developed countries, every frickin' one of them is going up.
I know.
Every single one.
Yep.
And you would have thought that I pulled my pants down right in front of them. That's how shocked they were, like I was speaking a foreign language or something.
Yep.
I mean, it was.
Well, even babies. I mean, you think in these other countries, these babies, birth deliveries and all that, surely we would be higher in this country, but we're not. Child mortality and all that is higher here than in some of these countries. We're
lowest. No, Regina, let me be clear.
The lowest.
Let me be clear. Among developed countries,
oh my God.
Among developed countries, we are the lowest. We are the lowest among infant mortalities.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Anyway.
But let me tell you, because, this Paul Tonnett, he has this new, like a new campaign out there, and it's called Moms to Be, okay? Because mothers drinking the fluoridated water, it's very, very dangerous, and it's producing low IQs, and it's proven. A 12-year study came out just in September of 2017. It was a 12-year U.S.-funded study that was done by Purdue and Harvard and Mount Sinai, and all these big-name universities and stuff were involved with this study, and it showed that mothers drinking fluoridated water, having fluoride, because that was a discrepancy. In some countries, they have it in their salt or whatever. At the levels that we have in the Dallas water, 0.7 parts per million, could expect their child to have a decrease in their IQ of up to 7 points. That's big. And I brought that to the city council. I said, this is a big new, because what they like to poo-poo is everything. Well, that study was done in Iran, or that study was done in China, or that study was done in India. The reason they do that, I know, they pick up, but the reason they do those studies in those countries is because there is no fluoride lobby over there. There's no dentist saying we need to keep it. It's naturally found really high in their water and in their earth and in their soil and all that jazz. And they're trying to find a way to get it out of these things, so they can put the truth out about how bad fluoride is, And here we have the American Dental Association, lobbying for how it's so good. And over there, the truth can come out. Yet, when those studies come out, the people in our country will say, oh, well, it came from China or it came from India. So it's kind of a circular kind of thing that we don't get headway here, and we have sick people. Yeah.
When you brought that up to the council about this new study, relatively new study, what was their response?
Well, immediately they had their eyes open just a little bit, and then I went to the city manager and talked to him about it. And what happened was they kind of noticed, because that's kind of a big thing. But what happened was the dental lobby came out with their rebuttal to it, and that's what they came out with. That's why I brought up the fact of it's in salt. They said, well, and these were mothers in Mexico, and, in Mexico they have it in their salt. What difference does it make? The whole idea was the mothers had it in their body and that it went to the babies, But all they did was they had their one-liner out there, and that's what they do. They get the one-liner, and that's all they repeat. And since the media is totally controlled in Dallas, they will not do anything. And listen to this, Daniel. In all the years we've been doing it, 5 years, they will have town halls they will have input from, they call them stakeholders. In other words, people are being affected by their decisions. Not one survey has gone up. Not one town hall in 5 years. So their strategy is don't comment, don't have it go in the news, just don't make a face, and it'll just keep moving on. And it's worked, so that the debate isn't out there and that they, don't have to see the response from the people. Yeah. Sickening.
We're coming on a break again.
Okay.
I love you for what you're doing, Regina, by the way. Tell me about some of the other studies of fluoride. What does fluoride do? We got about a minute or so. We'll continue on the other
First of all, only 50% leaves your body. Okay, so it stays in your body and it calcifies. That's why you have bone issues. Okay, and that's why you have your pineal gland gets calcified. And it's an endocrine disruptor. So that means it affects all kinds of your body. All your thyroid gland and blood sugar levels and your brain. I mean, it's a poison. It's a total poison. It kills rats, right? That's what it was used for, rats and bugs, and it still is. And so it does no good in your body. There's no good. And just like that topical, yeah, go ahead.
And it has a bioaccumulative effect, so it's
yes.
So it's an accumulative effect, right?
Totally. And it bonds with other things like aluminum. So that's why, and it carries these things to your brain and stuff. So it's even worse. It makes, I think there's another fancy name for it, which means it makes the other bad things even stronger and worse. Yeah, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And one more thing. This stuff that comes in our water.
An adjunctive?
It's already, adjuvant or something like that, yeah. And also, it's contaminated. This product that we put in our water comes with lead and arsenic. It's on their lading sheet that comes, It comes with mercury, lead, and arsenic, which there's no safe levels of those. It's insane. It's criminal. Aaron Brockovich is from Dallas. I don't know. I keep talking. I'll be quiet.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, here's the break. There's the music.
Okay.
There's the music.
Okay.
We'll get on the other side.
Okay.
I'm just boggled by this. I mean, everything that you just said, and she has the studies to back this up. Why? I don't even know what to say at this point. Our will is going to have to push a little more on this, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. We'll continue on the other side, and we'll get to the really good news. I promise you there's really good news going on. Stay tuned. ThePowerHour.com. We've heard from Daniel Estlin. There was an emergency in Toronto. There's a flash flood in his area, and basically it's going to take him about 3 hours to get home, so there's no way he's going to be able to make it. But he is going to come on later this week, either tomorrow or Friday, it looks like. So we'll keep up to date with that, but we're sorry for that Daniel couldn't be here. But we're very glad that Regina is, and talking about a very important subject. The ADA, the dentist, I went over this with mercury. Even the EPA, if you ask them, what are the safe levels of mercury to have in your body, they'll say 0. There is no safe level of mercury in your body. But yet the dentists for, darn near 100 years feel like if they can pack some mercury, they used to mix it in their hand. You remember that? Dentists had the highest rate of suicide or near the highest rate of suicide. Does anybody know that? They used to mix mercury in their hand to make the fillings. And they have the highest rate of suicide of any career. I mean, it's changing a little bit. There's still mercury that people are putting down. I learned a lot from this last dentist I went to. He was a holistic dentist talking about mercury. So those are the people, the ADA, who says it's still okay to do mercury fillings. And this dentist is somewhat ostracized to some degree for his stance. But we're supposed to listen to them about what's good and what we can put in our body and the fluoride and things. Are you kidding me? We eat the crops. Well, first, fluoride poison is sprayed on the crops. We eat the crops. We drink the water where fluoride, some cases, is naturally occurring. It's a different form. But then they add this adjunctive form of it, chemical form of it, which is like a supercharge of a destructive thing that binds with not only mercury, aluminum, what have you. It's bioaccumulative in our bodies. I mean, no wonder we're getting stupid. No wonder we can't fight. No wonder these globalists are winning or have won. But now we're waking up. And people like Regina are making it happen in this issue. There's a couple solutions on the other side. This is a short segment. I'm going to give you 2 solutions. There's 2 products that we have. Of course, it's a product. I get emails about these are infomercials. Of course, these are infomercials. This is 1. This is how we're funded. 2. We want a solution for you. Are you kidding me? Somebody writes another stupid email about these are infomercials. Give me a break. I don't promote that much. I don't promote near as much. We're funded by you buying things. So that's, of course, I want to present these things to you. It's a solution. Okay, Regina, anyway, I'm off my soapbox now. Tell us about the good news.
Okay, and that's a great soapbox. You know, while I was waiting, the commercials that I'm on, Dustin, I'm on, it's all these things, people are getting smarter, and they're trying to avoid the fluoride, and that's what we need to do. Okay, did you say the good news? The good news. Okay, one of the good news is,
yes.
This is the really good news, okay, is Dr. Paul Connett and his son Michael Connett, who's a lawyer. They started 2 years ago going to the EPA and talking to the EPA about the fact that they're not upholding their job of watching the toxins that are going into the water. Well, a petition was put together, and people's petition, it was very large and all this, but the EPA just blew it off and said, no, we're doing our job good. And they just ignored it. But because they denied this petition, it then gave them the opportunity to actually bring a lawsuit against the EPA. So Michael Connett and there were 6 nonprofits coming together, and they went forward with this. Okay, now the good news is the judge that looked at it, the EPA wanted it dismissed, because that's what they do also. They'll say dismiss it on the grounds that there's no ground. But this judge said, no, they have tons of ground here, and I want to see this move forward. Okay, a month later, and this happened in December of 2017, so it's fresh, right? So a month later, they went to the judge again, and they had a hearing, and the EPA said, okay, you're moving it forward, but they shouldn't have any new discovery. No, whatever they had in their petition should be all that they can bring forward. And again, the judge was on our side, Dr. Connett's side, that no, they will be able to run this trial just like a normal trial with no restrictions. And he set up the date in August of 2019 for 2 weeks of trial. So the experts can come, and this is where we finally, just like in Dallas and all these people that are trying to fight these things at the city level, when the truth is out there, the science is on our side, without a doubt. They have nothing on their side. They have propaganda and lies and the media that keeps propping it up, okay? And we have the truth. So they're getting independent. They have actually raised, normally these things are like, well, if we can raise the money, but they've raised the money to get the experts, and they're going to get experts, and it's going to move forward. And we have a big chance that this is going to ban fluoridation nationwide.
Oh, man, that is fantastic news. So what'd you say? Summer of 2019, so next year, that year from now. We got a break. On the other side, we'll have more with Regina and this very important topic. And stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, to PowerHour.com. In the year 2018, freedom is not a spectator sport. I mean, we could live off the accomplishments of our founding fathers, maybe 100 years ago, certainly 50, probably, whatever, to a large degree, and our life would be pretty good. At this point, 2018, it's not a spectator sport anymore, and our active participation is wanted by both sides. And when I say both sides, I mean the globalists want our will, and the patriots need our will, and the republic needs our will. So you can't stand idly on the sideline anymore. You're going to be pulled in one direction or another, and there's a polarizing effect in all the world going on right now. You can see it. There's a lot of landmines. There's a lot of deception. There's a lot of whatever it is. You know in your heart what's important to you. You know what in your life, your experience is. Nobody can tell you any different. No doctor, no radio host. I can't tell you. You know your life. You've seen what's been going on. Originally, we were going to have Daniel Espelon on, and this is kind of a God thing. I'm glad that Daniel, not that he's dealing with a flood, but But I'm glad Regina was able to come on for an hour and a half so we could really get into this, because it's not just the information. Regina is a symbol in her life, and all the people that are working with her that are out there on the front line and say, no, not only no, but hell no, like Cliven Bundy.
Yes.
Remember Cliven on Friday? He said not only no, but hell no. And Regina represents that. And that's America, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's Patrick Henry. And the great promise, the great example, the great lesson of the American Revolution, the greatest example that we can have is that a minority of people that are willing to sacrifice everything for the truth are undefeatable.
Yes.
Undefeatable.
Yes.
And that's what Regina is. She's undefeatable. And that's what you are. You're undefeatable. And you're starting to learn that. When I say you, I mean us, America. We are starting to learn that. Now, I'm going to give you two solutions. Now, Bill in Wyoming sends me another stupid email about how this is an infomercial. I don't know what he does for his life, but this is the kind of things I get, Regina. I'll present this information, and then I get trolls who want to attack me for presenting this. There's two solutions that I know of for fluoride. Two solutions. Once fluoride is in your body, there's halogen. Fluoride is a halogen. Bromide is a halogen. Chlorine. Chlorine is a halogen. Right. They seem to accumulate in the thyroid, the pineal gland, the brain, different places. One of the only things that I know that can bind with it is iodine, a good halogen. We sell the iodine over at the Power Mall. A very good form from Dr. Group, the detoxidine. That's actually what it's called, detoxidine, because it goes into your thyroid and different parts of your body, binds with the fluoride, binds with the chlorine, the bromide, the other things, detoxifies the pineal gland. There's a solution. Number two, don't put fluoride in your body. And the biggest culprit here is the water. Now, we sell, at Humana, we have a water filter called a DuraFlow water filter. We sell ProPure water filters. We represent them. Our customers seem to like them. And I personally, the best filter is DuraFlow. It has end-of-life testing. It's been scientifically proven to remove 98% of fluoride. That is very difficult in one filter. You know, things like Berkey, even ProPure, they need a separate filter. If you have those containers, like the Berkey containers, these filters fit in those. The DuraFlow filters, you can call Jay at the Power Mall. You can call Numana.com. You can call and ask about DuraFlow filters, not the ProPure filters, the DuraFlow filters. Scientifically proven to remove 98% of the fluoride in water. I can't even tell you what a leap forward this is in technology and gravity-fed type water filters. So those are two solutions for you. And two things that you can do. Of course, we've got all the other specials at the Power Mall. Give us a call, 877-817-9829, 877-817-9829. You owe it to your children. Right now in Michigan, another municipality, some more, you know about Flint, Michigan. Well, another one, the deterioration of the infrastructure is going on, and another community is having water problems. I don't drink tap water. I don't, period. That's it. And these are two solutions for you I think are fantastic. Getting back to Regina. Regina, we got about 15, 20 minutes of airtime left.
Okay. I love you. I love everything you're saying. And if anyone's going to pick on you, I tell you what, consider the source. Because you are trying to help people. You are trying to help people. And I've been remiss. I used to buy a lot more things from the Power Hour. And you know how you get out of the habit? But I'm placing an order when I get off the phone without a shadow of a doubt. Because I do want to support you. You're absolutely right. And, you know, it's infectious. When people start getting out there and doing something, like you said, just hand out any pamphlet or something. And when you see a response, you'll get encouraged to do more. And we all need to do more. So thank you for being there and offering these solutions for people. This fluoride is just really just one of the things. But, yes, I'm sorry. So we got the last few minutes. You want me to do what with it? Tell me.
Well, you know, I was going to say something. Joyce was the best salesman there ever was. I'm not that person. That's Joyce. Joyce could sell ice to an Eskimo. I'm much more, you know, it's there if you want it. You know, I don't know what the... Oh, there's only one Joyce. There ain't no doubt about that. But But there's only one you, and there's only one me, and there's only one everybody's listening. There's only one of you, and you have been created at this time to be here at this time. And so in the annals of all history, yes, you're right here, right now. So do something with it. So we have probably about, 12, 15 minutes of actual airtime left. In the remaining time, you go, what's important to you about fluoride or about anything? Go ahead.
Okay, I do, as much as the beginning especially, I was more or less telling you 5 years of trying and trying and trying, and it almost sounded like I was saying it doesn't make a difference, but it does. Because I believe that fluoridation is going to end without a shadow of a doubt. And all I'm hoping is to make it sooner. Because there's a lot of people that have no idea how bad fluoride is. And a lot of baby formula is powder, and they add tap water to it. And a baby under 6 months old should have 0 fluoride, okay? So even though some of these people say that your body, can use, or can tolerate up to 0.7 or whatever, but babies, it's really, really bad. So that's sad to me that this is going on for that reason. The people that have no idea about it or a way to get away from it. They're fluoridating because they're trying to help the people in the poverty areas because they don't have access to fluoride for their teeth. Yet these people don't have access to getting the filters either or to buying bottled water. When they have a limited income, they're not going to be carrying bottled water home like I do. I mean, I have filtration system. I have that. I mean, I am able to avoid the fluoride in my life, but a lot of these people aren't, and I think that's criminal. And speaking of criminal, whenever I say the word criminal, it reminds me because Aaron Brockovich had come to Dallas because the Dallas area, and I was involved with that too, because there's other problems with our water. There's serious problems with our water that are not just the fluoride, but when the fluoride's in there with the other serious problems in the water, which are byproducts of the way they treat the water, okay, with the it's called chlorine, okay? Now, we need to have 8 to get it stopped, right? But we're getting there. They wouldn't say that before. Now, they're not strong enough to say, we're going to bring it up for a vote. They're just waiting until the contract comes up again. Because in most cities, so if people in smaller areas, you have a better opportunity. If you live in a small town, go to your city council, bring it up. Dallas is big, and they don't want to be in the newspapers. Because there's only the 9 top cities, in America are all fluoridating, and they don't want to be the one that changes. Unfortunately, I tell them, be the hero that changes, But in your small areas, you have a greater influence sometimes. So, like San Marcos, 2 years ago, 64%, they did get it on the ballot. They were able to do that. 64% of the people said no to fluoride. So it was stopped,
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, this happens in the smaller areas. Yeah. You can have influence in the smaller areas because putting this in the water costs money. It costs $1 million in Dallas. They say they don't have enough money for other things, but they're putting $1 million into putting a poison in the water. So, yeah, I don't know where else to go with this except that there is hope. There is hope. That's why I keep doing it. I got voted one of the 10 top most embarrassing people in North Texas. I'm embarrassing. That's what they wrote in the article. Because
hey, hold that thought. Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Business travel or
I got to talk to Catherine, but he's going to be on this week, maybe tomorrow. Lo Ponte is going to be on also, Robert Tactilian. Lo Ponte, a prolific writer, Reader's Digest, he was involved with years. He has a really interesting perspective on the invisible wall being put up around America and also the EU. What is the EU? Some of the history. Fascinating, really fascinating. We're ending with Regina here. Regina, now, you've had a lot of success. When I say you, I mean your group, this whole fluoride-free movement throughout America has had pockets of success in different places. One of the biggest wins, and this surprised me, was about the Republican Party. Go ahead and discuss that, if you would.
Oh, sure. Anyone who's been involved with the Republican or the Democrat Party, they have a platform. And so there's a process, and it's a timely process. You go in at the precinct level and the district level and the county level and then the state level to bring a resolution forward. Well, be it resolved that the Republican Party of Texas has in their platform that the Republican Party of Texas believes they should ban fluoridation in the state of Texas. So that is,
wow.
And it was voted on, 80% of the people at the last convention, which was just in June, said that they believe in banning fluoridation. So this is what I was saying to you. And you're not there and you don't educate on all these things, you know? I mean, as the resolution's going forward, you speak on it for a few minutes. But it can be denied at any time. But it went through all the rigors to get to the state convention. And at the state convention, 5-1 voted. So it was like 6,000 people voted to ban fluoridation in the state of Texas. This is very big. And this can be a tool. I mean, Texas is a Republican state, pretty much. It can be a tool used for the politicians saying, look, the Republican Party says to ban fluoridation. And I've talked to other people in the Democrat Party because, you know, fluoridation should be a Democrat issue, too. So some other people said they hadn't thought of it. And this is the only state that has done this, and guess what? It was started in Dallas, by the way. But it's so this is big, and it was like, wow, hadn't thought about doing that. So there's other ideas out there for moving it forward. So
let me ask you a question, make a comment about that. Now, politicians, these city councilmen, you know, part of this, as you hear the story, of course, the conspiracy goes up in your mind, and obviously somewhere, somehow, something's going on here where people are getting benefit or paid or forced or pushed or manipulated. Or scared or whatever. Something's going on. But then human nature on the other side, some of these city councilmen, I'm sure they just don't want to be the first one. Like you said, they need cover. They don't want to jump out on the ledge. So this Republican Party coming out like this gives them a lot of cover to say, oh, well, the Republican Party, so it gives them cover. Has anybody from the Republican Party, because this is on their platform, has anybody from the Republican Party put pressure on these municipalities, including Dallas, to say, hey, you're Republican, this is our platform, we want you to do this?
No, but they should. And let me tell you, my state senator, okay, he's Don Huffines. He's a Christian, you know, strong. He stands up for all, you know, the Second Amendment and everything. He had told me before that he would move it forward in for a state issue. See, every state can ban fluoridation statewide, you know? So, and this will give him more cover. I mean, this just, like I say, basically pretty much happened. I need to approach him and say, because he was willing to do it, but he was putting all these other ones forward at the time, and this wasn't as big a priority. But this gives them big cover. I mean, this is big. And other states can do this. I mean, it's something that can be done. That's what they need. You're right. I've always said that a politician, you either have to have a lot of money or a lot of people, and then they listen, you know? So this, in essence, is a lot of people. I'm saying to them, look, 6,000 people that came to a convention, okay? So you got to say that each one of those represents a lot more people. You know what I mean? So these are the activists that came there.
80% too.
Yeah, 80%. Said yes. They put their neck up. This wasn't like they were worried that this was a conspiracy issue. This is a scientific issue, and so. Wednesday, I'm speaking to the Dallas City Council, so I'm going to bring this up to them. This is my opportunity. They were on vacation for a month, so, but I'll be speaking to them. Actually, not this Wednesday. But anyway,
well, maybe you could take, then that's the tact I would take. I would take, 6,000 people were at the Republican convention, and 80% of them voted for this. You're behind the times. You guys are lagging. It's not, you don't have to jump off the ledge. People are already there. You're the one, we're dragging you just to be equal with everybody.
That's very good.
Where are you?
You're right. That's very good. I like the way you put that.
You can say that. I know you can get in their face and say that. Say 6,000 people were at this convention, and 80% of them, that's what they want, is on the platform. The Republican Party's platform is to get rid of fluoride out of Texas. And you're sitting here arguing about stupid China studies or Venezuelan studies.
Right.
Get with the times. Wake up here, buddy.
All right, and we'll record it, and I'll send it to you that I said that. How's that? But one thing, I got it. Is it a deal? I'll try to make you proud. But my website is Dallas for Safer, not safe, but Safer Water. Okay. And someone said I should have used safe, but I said no. We're just trying to make it safer. Okay. I'm not saying that we're going to get all of the fluoride out. And so .com. But then I also want to say is FluorideActionNetwork.org. That's the Paul Connett one, and what's really great is he'll have the interviews of he was on the Corbett Report talking about this court case that's coming up, and also there's this girl, and her name is Melissa Gillan, I think. Anyways, it'll be on the front when you go to both mine. Melissa, I call her Melissa. Her name was Gilbert, but then she got married, and then I'm in my car and I don't have her last name. But she's a wonderful young girl that made like a 7-minute video about fluoride. It's really good. It tells the whole thing in like 7 minutes. And she's also got a petition going, and she wrote a book. And there's a great big connection between fluoride and acne. So, I mean, it's funny. You can get people in all different areas, but if it's a beauty aspect even or, something like that. And so she wrote a great book, and Dr. Connett will have that on his website. I have it on mine, too, but he has the more updated stuff. So, FluorideActionNetwork.org. Okay.
Fluoride Action Network in Dallas for Safer Water, right? Dallas
That's
for
right.
Safer Water.com and Fluoride Action Network. We got about 30 seconds, a minute. Last thought is yours.
Oh, thank you so much. And I hope people listening to this will do their part for their own self, avoiding the fluoride, and pass it on to other people that they need to do the same. And buy your products from the Power Hour. And I love you all, and thank you. Bye
God
for
bless
now.
you, Regina. There she goes. Bye, Regina. A real American. There's an American. You want to see American 1776? There she goes. I can't get. It's hard to give greater praise. I'm so inspired by people like this. This is what we need right now. This is the times we live in, ladies and gentlemen. So glad that you joined us again. Great show tomorrow. Come back and join us. ThePowerHour.com. See ya.
Well, there she goes. That's our Regina and Bergia from Dallas. And if you want to find the website, it's Dogs Against Fluoride or fluoridation.com, and Dallas for Safer or Safe Water, one of the two. We want to thank Regina for all her work. I want to thank Daniel Brigman for having Regina on. It's the greatest show. You can catch it on GCN, and it's great. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there and listening, and please pray that we can get this fluoride out of the water. Please tell all your friends about it. Remember, 7% drop in IQ. I mean, if that's not enough without the pineal gland being calcified and all the other problems, the accumulated effects, then I don't know what to tell you. It's no wonder our country is such a mess.